to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the author of the book The Game, Winning the Virtue One Move at a Time. No other than Miss Princess Merrilee. Welcome to Book 101, Miss Princess. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Well, I am Princess Merrilee of Solana, Ambassador of Love, Guardian of Divinity. I'm an author and a mentor, a speaker, and I help people understand the power of love by leading by example.
The power of love. I like that, Miss Princess. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. And hoping for more and more empowering books like this to come. So tell us, you frame life and leadership as the game. Why is the game such a powerful metaphor? And how does viewing through the lens of virtue change the very definition and what it means to win?
Okay, well, that was a pretty long question. Well, I have to refer back to the Bible. So some people, read the Bible, and some people study, and some people don't read it at all. And it has occurred to me that a lot of people are suffering, a lot of people are in pain, and whether they read the Bible, they don't read the Bible, or they read it all, they're hurting from someone or something or regretting the pain they've caused to someone else. And all of it is, beyond their understanding. And so they're ruminating and they have regret and they don't understand what the heck they did or why something didn't work out. And the game helps you with all of that.
Interesting, Miss Princess. And the title suggests winning and virtue are not just compatible, but synergistic. How do you respond to the classic argument that nice guys finish first or finish last, and that virtues can be a handicap in a competitive world?
Well, you know what? Nice and intelligent are completely different.
True.
Okay, so if you want to be a king will never bend over backwards. A king bows, so he maintains his honor. And you have to know how to do that. Otherwise, you're bending over backwards and you become a nice guy and you lose.
So, which one do you suggest? Be a nice guy or
Be an
something else?
honorable, no, be honorable.
Be
Yeah,
honorable.
yeah, honorable. And honorable is loving, but you have to understand the definition of that and how to actually put that in play. Without understanding how to put it in play, you end up, chasing and trying to please and bend over backwards, and then you're losing again. You get taken advantage of, and and then you regret, and then you hate all women or you hate all men, and we don't want that. We're trying to unify.
If you're winning by virtue, what does the scoreboard look like? How do you measure success in a game where integrity, compassion, and courage are the primary metrics?
Well, okay, that's a good question. So how do you win? You win by having pieces on the board. So there's, just as in chess, that's the analogy. You have a king and a queen and your pieces. Your king represents your honor and your integrity, and your queen is your faith. And she is the most powerful piece on the board. You can lose her, but the moment you realize, you better get her back on the board or else it's going to be game over. So the reason why it's so powerful is because it separates behaviors from being virtuous, from the everyday, what's acceptable, how we communicate or the lack of communication where people are making assumptions and they're accusing each other and defending ourselves. They shut down and they tell lies to cover up and they're doing all this stuff and people are talking, but they're not communicating. So the book teaches you how to eliminate all that from your vocabulary and instead speak with honor and to inquire, to pause, to inject humor. So each of your virtues have they're multifaceted. So you got to see how each piece actually works, and I explain that in the book.
Miss Princess, what does it mean to win one move at a time? Is about cumulative power over small virtuous decisions, or can you give us an example?
So one move at a time means that you're using your queen, your faith, to believe that all you have to do is make one response. That's it. And then let your player make a response. Typically, when people communicate, they want to explain the whole picture, all their assumptions. They want to negate what you're saying and correct what you're thinking and do all this stuff just to try to get them to understand that, they can't pull one over and they don't really understand you. And so give me a chance to explain. And it's so convoluted that the people are just talking at each other instead of communicating. So one move at a time means I get to respond with one move. So in that one move, I will maintain my king on the board. I will keep my faith that either I can wait or I can let this, whatever it is, go and let God handle it. Um, but in any case, it's just one move. And so this keeps the communication going without making assumptions as to what your player is actually going to say back to you.
Miss Princess, what does a virtue strategy look like in a high stakes, real world situation like a difficult negotiation or corporate takeover? How
That's
does
right.
it how does it differ from a purely Machiavellian approach?
Okay, well, that's a great question because I love how you took it to the corporate world and not just minimizing it to, you know, relationships because it is valid and valuable in every situation. I've helped people out of, legal situations, relationships, many different types of situations by using the principles of the game. And so, how does it work? Well, it's not easy because a lot of times we want to lie, cover up, manipulate a little bit, shake hands behind the scenes. And if you're going to be honorable and have integrity, you have to be able to communicate the truth.
Interesting, Miss Princess. I'm purple or perplex. Which virtue is the most challenging to employ as a strategic tool when you're under pressure and temptation to take a shortcut strong?
That's it. That's a great question. Um, the best thing to do right there is number one is to isolate your player. Too often we get overwhelmed with too many people. There's too many people involved. Whether it's in business and you've got, trying to balance the corporate world with maybe the customer and, the bottom line, your money, or in your house, it's your spouse with the kids, or maybe in-laws. There's so many people involved that you don't know what is honorable, what is true. So you have to isolate who your player is at this moment. And that's the person that you're talking to. Always. There's a just you and the person you're talking to, nobody else. If there's someone else, board switches.
In a traditional game, the goal is to checkmate your opponent. In your virtues game, what is the ultimate objective, or engaging with someone who's playing by cutthroat rules?
Oh, it's just game over. That's it.
Very
So
fast.
the object of the game is to keep your king on the board, and people lose that king in one move, and they're not seeing how that happened. Whether it's a first date, your interview, um, anything at all, it's one move. And if you break one of those rules, trust is gone, and now you just become like anybody else. And if you
Mm,
don't want to be like anybody else, you have to be able to keep that king on the board. And, and that's maintaining trust. So if people can't define trust, they're going to lose it.
definitely, they gonna lose it without trust. How can a leader in a toxic culture begin to implement these principles without being seen as weak or being sidelined?
Oh, it's okay. That's a great question. That's good. Okay. So first of all, when people read the book, um, the first thing that most people do is they can see behaviors in other people that they know. And so they'll start pointing all this stuff out. So what you're talking about is how does, in the corporate world, how do you implement this? Well, you have to look in the mirror. You
Mm,
have to look in the mirror. You can't just be expecting people to act a certain way. You, I have to change the way I'm behaving to get that response that I want. So if I'm diplomatic, if I know how to deliver with grace, if I know how to pause, when to ask a question, when to inject humor, it's all about me and self mastery. And then life becomes a game.
interesting, Miss Princess. How does playing the game with virtue change team culture? Does it eliminate internal competition or simply redirect it toward a more collaborative goal?
Collaborative. Yeah, there's no competition. There's no such thing as competition. Competition is typically pressure with money, and people just want to win. Well, if you really want to win, we've got to have the courage to chip away that ego to be the most beautiful um, representation of love, which most people aren't used to. And they can't put their finger on it. They don't know what you're doing. They can't. How are you doing this? Yeah.
So you talk about analyzing your moves. What does a personal debrief after a loss or mistakes look like through this lens?
What do mistakes look like through that lens? Okay. Well, okay. So let me put it this way. When you meet someone new, okay, someone comes in, that's your player, okay? The first thing out of their mouth is going to determine if you're playing or not, because they're going to tell you exactly who they are. And if you recognize the complaining, right? The I mean, there's different. There's work and then there's social. But if they're complaining, if they're talking about someone else, it depends on their opening. You know exactly where it's going. So you can't trust them. That means it's over. The moment you can't trust someone, it's the next person. They just become a person. And a lot of people without understanding think that that's judgment, but it's not judgment when you understand the facets of the game. It's extremely powerful. So you don't waste time, effort, or energy or resources on people who are ultimately going to hurt you.
Can you truly win the game by your definition, even the face of professional failure or loss deal? How?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I win all the time.
How, Miss Princess? How?
Oh,
Tell us.
because, okay, I win all the time because I am a product of the game. That is who I am. So I understand whoever it is that I'm dealing with, whether it's professional or, not professional, every day, it's personal. The same rules apply. It doesn't change no matter what the situation is or the money involved or the severity of the complexity of the deal that you're doing. It doesn't matter. You still implement the same moves and it wins every time. There's no losing if you do it right. See, it's really the first one who starts breaking all those rules, you lost.
Hmm.
Yeah, you lost.
Miss Princess, on the personal journey and mindset, who or what is the real opponent in the game? Is the other people, our own shortcomings, or the temptation to abandon our virtues when it's convenient?
It's me. I'm the opponent because it's literally a game our whole life. So I'm trying to win. When my kids were little, we used to play a game called Crash. And in this video game, you're Crash. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but you're going through all these different obstacles and you're bouncing on the boxes to get points for life. And, hopefully you have enough. And if you mess up, then you get another one. Okay, it's the same. It's the exact same thing in real life. Every day you are facing some sort of boogeyman that you have to overcome. And every time you do, you literally get points in heaven. And the more you implement the strategy, you know what to do. It's like you can't be making excuses. You can't be lying. You can't be covering up. You can't be manipulating. You can't be uh, doing anything that's going to hurt your opponent. You have to stay in love, and that's the armor of God. So you're always protected, and that's why you always win.
Yes. You're protected and you always win for sure. Miss Princess, virtues as a move make it sound like a practical skill or a
It's
practice
difficult.
skill. Is it?
Absolutely. It is very difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy. And somebody told me it sounds hard. People don't like hard. They want it to be easy. And it's like, no, chipping away at our ego to become enlightened, to understand the true nature and the power of love is not easy. It's not going to be easy. And if you just, are too busy for that and you want to stay in the world and continue to just chase, 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 chase instead of attracting and having fun and it's a choice.
It's really a choice,
Yeah.
people. Many leaders talk about the cognitive dissonance of acting against their values. How does playing a virtuous game actually conserve energy and build a personal resilience?
Well, what you're saying is that we have a lack of self-awareness. So that cognitive dissonance means that you're telling me that I can't do certain things, but I'm not seeing me do it. You're telling me that I'm lying, but in my mind, it's not a lie. It was just a cover up. It was just not to hurt them. It was just, and we make excuses and allowances, and it's like, no, 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 it's a lie.
It's a big lie.
It's a lie. And so we
Yes.
have to stop making excuses for ourselves and really understand how we're behaving and look in the mirror and go, okay, wait a minute. I just said that. So in the book, I give many, many, many plays. And those plays are to tell you what is normally accepted in the way we communicate and the things that we say, but they hurt. The moment you hurt your player, trust is gone and it's over. So you want to not do that. You want to be very, very careful that you're not going to hurt your player. And the better you get at not hurting people and just becoming love, the higher your consciousness is able to see how beautiful this life really is, how magical. It's not about the lower vibration of just chasing and chasing money, chasing money. No, it's literally about flying high and seeing what God has prepared for us. You experience miracles that money could never buy. Never.
Mm-hmm. True. Money can buy books, but not wisdom. Okay, the mirror test. What?
Okay.
What is the one question you should ask yourself at the end of each day to assess whether you played the game well?
Well, if you're playing, um, that's a kind of a tough question. The better you get at it, you start to see how you hurt people unconsciously, and you're like, oh, you know, you can catch yourself. When you do catch yourself saying something that was an assumption, you accuse somebody, you expected something that you shouldn't have, whatever it is, you have the opportunity to go back and apologize. You do have that ability, and that will score you a lot of points for another life. But
Indeed.
it's so much fun. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself, do I really know what love is? Because the answer is, I should be able to say what love is in 5 words. I should be able to tell you exactly what it is if I knew what it was.
Definitely. Is the goal of this philosophy to ultimately get others to play by the same rules, creating a ripple effect, or is about maintaining your own integrity regardless of what others do?
Definitely maintaining your own because this life is about, it's just me and God. That's what it is. And everyone else serves as a test to be able to love. And then, you're going to get hurt, but you want to minimize that pain by seeing it coming. So that's another problem. People can't see it coming. So because you're making allowances for people under the guise of, I'm kind and I'm forgiving and well, they're trying to do their best and all this other stuff, no, you're going to get really hurt the longer you go on.
So,
So,
Miss Princess, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, and my geography 101 in its fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in a fourth season, as well as my movie 101 review and music 101 and science 101 and sex 101 and second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Princess, if you could inspire our audience to make one single immediate chance to how they approach their professional lives, what would it be?
well, if you want to make money, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to be rich, learn how to love.
Yes, love your passion, people. It will give you billion trillion, just like Elon Musk. He love
uh,
what he's doing. So, what do you think? It will give you for sure trillions of money. So, Miss Princess, Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Thank you for having me, Daniel.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Thank you. Um,
Go ahead. Where
oh, you want me
do
to? I thought it
yes?
was over.
Where do people buy your book?
At marileeofsolana.com.
Yes, people, let's support Amaze Princess because if you
Yes.
support her, more and more empowering love to come, more and more empowering books
And
like this
Daniel,
to come. Yes,
if they're not readers and they would like a fast track,
audiobook. Yeah,
yes, then they would. It's best for them to get the audio I've created. It's not the audio book, but it is a 2-hour audio that is going to give you a lot of value, closure, and direction for becoming a leader.
interesting. Yes, again, Miss Princess, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
Monica people, see you soon. What a great episode.